Hello. Tonight I want to talk to you about President Barack Obama and what it means for the United States and for the world that you have a new president, Barack Obama. And if I were to give a title to this short conference, I would call it Things Are Not What They Seem. Because in a way, you see, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Today America is exhilarated with its new president, Barack Obama, as if one man could change everything for everyone and for good. No doubt Obama made a very good election last November. Hope was reborn amongst many people, many tear-eyed people who were really impressed, especially the blacks, especially the Hispanics, especially the Orientals, especially your impoverished people who seem to see in Barack Obama and his promise of change almost a Superman. But look closer. In spite of his good looks, his youth, his Abe Lincoln aura, his change slogan, there is a problem with Obama. Like all presidents in the United States, in Argentina, in Europe, its prime ministers, Obama is basically your chief executive officer. And you know, if you were to consider your presidents, Obama now, George Bush before that, and your future presidents, as your national CEO, that would be a good place to start, because if you consider your president the way we do, we consider Mrs. Cristina Kirchner as our CEO, Gerenta General. If you consider Obama as your CEO, that automatically triggers two questions. If he is the CEO, who sits on the board of directors of the United States of America, and who are the shareholders of the United States of America, because they own your country, so you should know who they are. Doesn't it surprise you that Barack Obama rose from total obscurity in Illinois to full Washington pomp in just 3-4 years? Even I would say 2 short years. In actual fact, Obama, you will see, is the same thing, and I hate to say it this way, it's the same thing with a different color. Things are not what they seem, I insist. And I would like to do a little exercise, a little mental exercise with you, and you'll see what I'm saying. I am speaking to you from Buenos Aires, in Argentina, and today is 15th of April of 2009. Let's make believe for a moment that today is the 15th of April, but 20 years back. Or in other words, today is 15th of April, 1989. And I want to sit here and say to you, today, 15th of April, 1989, in the next 18 months, Germany is going to reunite, the Berlin Wall is going to fall, the Soviet Union is going to split up into 20 republics, and from being Marxist-Leninists, they're going to become capitalists. You would probably turn off your TV set immediately, and if you were seeing me personally, you would just probably get up and leave or insult me or say, this guy's totally mad, he's crazy, whatever. And yet what I just described is exactly what occurred in the 18 months after 15th of April of 1989. Let's come back to 2009. You see, at that time, the powers that be, the people that really run the world, had decided on a new world order called globalization. The bipolar world of Yalta, of this spurious agreement between the United States and the Soviet Union back after the Second World War, that had to end. They were ready for globalization. And I would say that at the beginning of the 20th century, they set going 2 different systems, similar to the Soviet Union and the United States, to see which of the 2 would be the best way to run a global system. State communism in the USSR or free enterprise in the United States of America. They let them both run. May the best system win. The communist system used a policeman with a ferocious dog in every corner to control the people. The American system used a TV set in every living room. Shall we say the TV set won? So they were ready for globalization. They had to get rid of the Soviet Union. And you would say, oh, but who could have seen that? 1989, 1990, 1991. If you had read a book by Zbigniew Brzezinski, who was National Security Advisor for Jimmy Carter and one of the ideologues and founder of the Trilateral Commission and also a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, if you had read his book, Between Two Ages, The Role of America in the Technotronic Age, which dates back to 1971, and if you had read between the lines, you would have realized that they had decided that the Soviet Union had to fall, and that they had to make it fall without going into thermonuclear war, and that the best way to do it would be through economic and cultural infiltration, which is exactly what the Trilateral Commission managed during the next 20 years. It took them 20 years, but they did. Why do we have Obama then, today, as your new president? Now the New World Order managers need to transition from globalization to world government. And if world government is to be enthroned, they have to do something about the U.S. They need the United States to go into history, not to be anymore the sole global superpower, not to be the indispensable nation, as Madeleine Albright called it. It's too powerful. World government will be led from somewhere else, and we can't do without a very strong United States. Look at the long-term strategy they have made. They knew that to bring down the United States, they had to just let your financial system go completely ballistic, go completely crazy, and it would implode on itself, and that would generate your terrible crisis. And that was done during the Clinton years with the deconstruction of your entire financial legislation, especially the repeal of the Glass-Steagall Act, which was forced by Citicorp and by Travelers Insurance when they merged. And the only explanation for those years, well, you all remember, Alan Greenspan would say, hey, when asked, why are we growing so much? Irrational exuberance. Wonderful explanation. And here we are now, after the trillions of dollars of the Bush administration, completely collapsed. And Obama is the logical man to try and see what we do about this, to give it a logical conclusion. Why Obama? Because he's nice, because he's articulate, because he's black, because he's young. He's got a nice wife, cute kids, and now even a cute little dog. Perfect for a Madison Avenue toothpaste commercial. But the problem with Obama is that he is tremendously weak, and that's what they need to manage the twilight of the United States of America. Think of it. A country that has had a Dwight Eisenhower, a John Fitzgerald Kennedy, a Richard Milhouse Nixon, a Jimmy Carter, a William Jefferson Clinton, 2 George Bushes. You now have Barack Hussein Obama? Very strange. I think that the elite are having some very bad plans for the United States of America. I would say that Obama is earmarked to be the American president who could not save America from its collapse, who could not save it from its tremendous predicament, and in a way, he might even be the last president of the United States. Look, there's been a lot of psychological action over this, psychological warfare. You all know that Hollywood works together with the intelligence community to generate behavior patterns, social behavior patterns, and so forth. I want to just give you an example. We've seen in recent years a lot of president movies. Michael Douglas was a very nice president in one of his movies. Air Force One was a movie where Harrison Ford plays a part of the President of the United States, and he single-handedly takes back Air Force One, which has been hijacked by some terrorist, and he ends up conveying himself to another airplane in midair through a rope. And then there was the other one where Bill Pullman acts as the U.S. President in the flick Independence Day, where the President himself personally flies an F-16 fighter against the alien flying saucers and demolishes them. So, you know, very strong presidents. But there's another movie called Deep Impact, where the president is played by Morgan Freeman, who's black. And, well, there's an asteroid coming at Earth. And Morgan Freeman orders that it be destroyed with A-bombs, and they split it into 2. But then Morgan Freeman goes on television to say, we split it into 2, but it's still coming this way. So, God bless you all, it's the end of America, game over. What's the moral? White presidents can save the day, black presidents can't. So, we are going to be in for a lot of trouble, because they have put into the subconscious of the American people and the American world that black presidents, they're nice, they're okay, they're good guys, but they just can't cope with everything. The problem with Obama is we have to start putting the jigsaw puzzle together. And when you put together a jigsaw puzzle, you don't need to put it all together. When you start putting it together, you put some pieces here, and it shows you the front part of a boat, and it shows you water here, and you figure what you don't have, you can still infer what it will be. You can use your intuition. If there's the front part of a boat here, obviously it's going to be the back part of the boat here. The bluish pieces, I'll send them upwards because they're the sky. The greenish pieces, I'll send them downwards because it's grass. I mean, it's using, even if you don't have the full picture, you can sort of imagine what it will look like. So you don't need to have all the pieces to know what the jigsaw puzzle shows. And I would say that Obama's jigsaw puzzle is that although he's a good guy, like Morgan Freeman, he has been surrounded by 3 types of people, very powerful people. Members of powerful think tanks like the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Conference, and the more recently founded Center for American Progress. Clintonites, the very people who are responsible for the financial architecture, are now back in power. They are the same people who served with Bill Clinton in the 90s. And the third type are militant Zionists.